Hey, and welcome to another Blitz game with some live commentary. As you can see, the game already started, so let's jump straight into the action here. He plays e4 and I will go for d6 in this game. With black, I have several openings in my repertoire. This is one of them, the Philidor defense, which can be quite boring at times, but can also be very interesting. It just depends a bit on what white decides to play. So this is like the basic setup for black here. Oh, this is interesting. This piece sacrifice isn't supposed to be anything special for white. It's just some theoretical line. As you can see, I don't really have a choice in the moves I need to make because queen e8 is the only square. And he's winning back to rook on a8 for the sacrifice piece, but I can get some counterplay as well with queen g6, and he castles, which is not the main line. I know this is actually quite tricky. I think if I go rook b8, he will play f4, but I'm not entirely sure. So he basically sacrificed a bishop for 2 pawns, which is, you know, it's quite decent. And he has some nice initiative, because my king is a bit awkward with the rook on h8. And I haven't really developed my pieces yet. So f4 is a good move. And now I have to try and figure out how to continue here. I can take the pawn on e4 even if I like. That's a bit too greedy, let's see. Knight takes. Ah, he goes f5. Takes. Queen, take his queen. All seems playable. You know what? Let's give it a go. I'm a bit concerned he might take on e5, but I'll just give it a try. Let's see what happens here. Knight takes e4. So I know this position is quite vulnerable when it comes to making mistakes. It's easy for black to go wrong because my king is awkwardly placed and I'm not developed, so it is a bit tricky. And he castled. He almost developed all his pieces. And these light squares are dangerous. I should be careful that he's not going to put a queen on d5 here. So I'll take the knight. Just get rid of that one. And I'll take the pawn on... Well, do I take the pawn on e5? I can take pawn takes for knight b6 to cover d5. But I can also decide to go knight b6 immediately. And just keep the tension a little bit. I think I'll do that. However, knight b6, bishop a3, pinning the pawn, is that going to be an issue? I'm not sure. Okay, so let's be sure and let's take on e5. So queen d5, we have queen f7, which is still good. After he takes the pawn on e5 though, and the rook on f1 is protecting f7, so I should be careful. But also I can play a move like h6 and king h7, and I'm pretty safe because he has no light square bishop anymore. So maybe I'll do that instead of playing knight b6. Or can I just take the pawn on e5? I didn't really consider this move, to be honest. Oh, what's happening here? Queen b6 check, takes, then queen d5 is checkmate. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's not play that one. So can I take on e5? There I go h6 just to be sure I'm not getting checkmate. I'll play it safe here, h6. I've taken a few risks already, so at least I'm threatening to win a knight with queen b6. Taking e5 is a bit too greedy, you know. I also allow bishop f4. There's some tricky stuff on the diagonal. So I like h6 here just to be safe. He prevents queen b6 check, which is clever. Now I'll just get my king safe. King h7. That looks good. Now the next move will be knight takes e5 if he doesn't protect the pawn, but I guess he's gonna play e6. But then knight f6, and I got my piece developed, which is the most important thing for me in this position. Because I'm up a piece, and yes, it is for 2 pawns, but I mean, his pawn structure is not too pretty, and the e5 pawn might actually be just a weak pawn. Because it's gonna be tricky for him to defend this guy. Or maybe bishop d4 to protect. But it's not the most active move, of course. I can go knight c5, put a piece on e6, and yeah, then my position seems very healthy. It's just unclear. He's never gonna exert enough pressure on the light squares to achieve anything, in my opinion. So my king is always safe on h7. Wow, I totally missed this move, but that's okay because I have a lucky escape here. I can give it a check on c5. So he grabbed another pawn, but I don't really care too much about the a pawn, to be honest. Yes, he has 3 pawns for a bishop, but I mean these are 2 extra pawns and this guy, so it's not such a big deal. Definitely one piece is stronger than these 3 pawns together, so that's all fine. What's he gonna play after queen b6 though? Where's the white knight going? Or does he go queen d6? But then exchanging queens is probably in my favor. Also go knight e4, threatening queen b6 check. But the knight looks a bit silly on e4, so let's just go for queen b6. I like this move. With all the checks covered. And I guess the queen d6 is the only move for him not to lose any material. Because I don't see where the knight is heading. On top of my threat of knight e4 check or knight d3 check or knight b3 check, as a matter of fact. He goes queen f7, but he still has no checks. I can just capture this guy, right? I can capture the knight. I can go knight e6 check and just take the knight on c7. That looks winning. We take with a knight or the queen on c7. I think both are possible. Maybe the knight is better though. Knight takes, I can go bishop e6. Because queen takes, queen f5 check. I can go to g8, but then my rook is a bit silly once again. I'll take with the knight. Hopefully I'm not throwing away my advantage here, but I don't think so. Now bishop e6. I mean, he can't even find a proper check here, so I will exchange some pieces. But now I'm basically castled and my king is perfectly safe. So this is looking great for me. Checked f8. I just want to exchange the rooks here. I take there and bring the next one to f8. Now most of my pieces are activated. He just has to exchange that one as well. Well, this should not be too difficult. I mean, I have 2 extra pieces. His e5 pawn is blocked. He might try and win on time. Let me just make this easy. And exchange some pieces and go for the winning ending. Yeah, he resigned. That was an interesting game. So let's check what went wrong in the opening, because I think the most important part is right after the sacrifice. So let's go back to the start. So the opening is all fine. And this is interesting. As you can see, the engine thinks it's playable. I mean, for a piece sacrifice, it's not too bad, the evaluation. So knight e6, queen e8, takes on c7, queen g6. You can see knight takes a8 is probably the main line here. He castles, rook b8, f4. I have several options, but apparently knight takes e4 is the best move here. So I did play this quite well actually. Knight takes e4, he takes an e5. I take the knight on c3, pawn takes. Yeah, as you can see, knight b6 was the alternative I had in mind. If you think it's fine, knight b6 or d takes e5, they're equally fine here. Also knight b6, bishop a3, you see that's the line I talked about during the game. But I guess he just ignores and develops with bishop g4. I mean, this looks fine for black. Got most of my pieces developed. White has a slight initiative, but nothing spectacular in my opinion. But okay, d takes e5 is equally fine. Oh, I could have won the piece here. Oh, sorry, of course it's white to move. But maybe the ancient says queen d5 is the best move, but if we have to exchange queens, then, well, I mean, there's only one checkmate threat to be afraid of, but just bishop c5 check, move the king, and now just to move, yeah, knight b6 is a nice move. I mean, exchanging queens is a very unnatural move. You don't want to exchange queens, because then you're just playing an endgame with the piece down. So I can understand why you didn't play this. So f takes e5, h6, yeah, which is, well, h5 apparently slightly better, but still it's top 3 move of the engine. Here b6 was good. Yeah, I missed the bishop takes a7, gotta be honest with you guys. I just missed this move. So I should have prevented that, of course. And bishop c5, but this is all fine. And now queen d5 is probably a slightly inaccurate move. Bishop h3, I didn't even consider this move. Looks a bit tricky, attacking g2, so he can't take my knight. Interesting stuff. Queen b6 is not in the top 3 moves. And that's because of queen d6. I thought exchanging queens was good for me. But apparently the d-pawn is slightly more dangerous. It's a bit annoying, but after bishop d7 I should still be better. The queen f7, knight e6, and from here on it's just a winning position for me. No mistakes were made. Just exchange the rooks and knight d5. Queen. It's just a cute little way to finish the game. Probably not the best move. Whatever. King takes knight f4. Winning back the queen in the endgame is easy with 2 extra pieces. So far this game. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about the game or anything you want to say, please let me know in the comments. And thank you for watching. Bye.